Ashley Sexton is coming.
Alrighty. So I can hear myself. Can you mute that?
Jamie might actually.
Is that better?
I can hear myself. Can you mute that?
Jamie might
Sorry,
need the
just a couple of technical issues here.
I mean, just
You might need to use those headphones.
Nick.
All right, I'm just gonna give you an introduction. Just a couple of technical issues here.
Shoot the Discord link into the chat for Jamie. You might need it.
The Discord? I can't. Somebody else get the Discord link. All right.
Shoot the Discord link into the chat for Jamie. You might need it.
So much.
I'm already live. I can't. Somebody else get the Discord link. All right.
Just to feel a bit.
I'm already live.
Put it between my legs. Now we're ready to go.
Just to feel a bit.
Ooh, that's gonna be a pizza. Shut up, Arnold.
All right. So before I get even more cranky at this, let's just gonna go ahead and go live. All right. So this has been a rather busy week. Cranky at this. Let's just gonna go ahead and mute that too. All right. So been a busy week because we just had the Quiz Piss up over the last weekend. So I was a little bit busy to do a history on this week's beer, but we will say that welcome to Beer Analysis. Tonight we're going to take a look at something from Big Rig, which is Tales from the Pumpkin Patch Porter. So, yeah, let's get down to who we have with us. Starting with, actually, let's introduce these two, Guy and Redbeard, who were recently just down here, but right now they are actually in Big Rig.
First time ever on location anal.
Yeah, this is kind of like a first for us, and I guess a little bit of a reason why we're having some issues. So
terrible audio quality, and we're sorry.
Sorry. How you guys doing tonight, and how's the drive home?
As soon as we left New Brunswick, all of the rain.
Really?
All of the rain. It's insane. But other than that, good drive. No more speeding tickets, and
nice.
Looking forward to this. Yeah.
Nice. Alrighty.
Yeah, brewery behind.
I see that.
Wow, that's a brewery.
And Guy, did you stay awake the entire trip?
Yeah.
He's spilling it on his shirt. Big Rig.
He just scared himself with a coaster. It was great.
Nice. All right, so let's go over to Mr. Gorg.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Not too bad.
I'm doing great. I was not part of the Quispamsis piss up, so I got to enjoy no seafood or sex. But, well, I mean, not any maritime sex anyway. But I'm good otherwise. Although I must say I'm a little disappointed because it looks like this year's can doesn't glow in the dark. I was just trying to test it, and it doesn't seem like it glows in the dark anymore. Oh, maybe, I don't know. I think that's just the thing for my... I think it's just the light for my screen. Anyways, this beer is a 0 to 10 because they got rid of the glow-in-the-dark can. Fuck you, Big Rig.
Brett, I don't want to jump in if you can. Does it? You said this year's can doesn't glow in the dark? I could have sworn it still did. Really? Doesn't it say it does still?
I'm not saying that it glows in the dark. Although, I don't know.
It doesn't look like it glows in the dark here. I mean,
I
that would have been a cool touch.
Turn the lights out, this can glows.
I don't see anything on the can that says it glows.
The circle on the label kind of feels different from the rest
You're
of the
right,
can.
it does. I don't know. Maybe mine's broken. Or
Maybe it's because it needs to be under the light to charge and it's been in your fridge for.
Well, you know what? It's going to be kept in light for the next half hour, how long the show takes. We'll test it at the end and find out.
All right. So now that Greg's done, let's go over and introduce the others that we have here, which are actually right over here in my basement. Yeah, no, Lee's freaked out, but Lady Lee and Lee are both here. They both have the beer. And how are you folks doing tonight?
Pretty good. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened with the audio then. Anyways, we're doing good. We're full. We did a lot of food today, so we're happy.
Nice.
Yeah, lots of seafood.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Very seafood-filled week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've had one meal that wasn't seafood all week. Yeah, so I'm extra excited about that.
Nice. All right, how you doing, Lee?
Pretty good. As you can imagine. Yeah, she's eaten a lot of seafood. She's seen a lot of East Coast scenery that old hat to people like me and Nicholas Lowe, but she was super excited. She almost fell off a cliff and died.
I didn't almost fall into a cliff and die.
Yeah, she
slipped in a safe area.
There was no safe area that she was standing on.
It was slightly.
If I slipped in that spot, I'd be shitting my pants.
Mm-hmm.
I barely even fell. I didn't even lose balance.
Now the question is, if she had fallen to her demise, would you guys have just walked the other way, looked the other way on it, or would you have told the authorities and possibly implicated yourselves in her death?
Sure.
I probably would have driven Lee to the Nova Scotia border and said he's on his own.
Honestly, so no.
Swipe my hands in it. I'm kidding.
Although, wouldn't it be ironic if after all that eating of seafood, the sea life actually ate her corpse?
That irony?
Yes, it is. I think that's irony.
The circle of life, Greg.
Yeah, there we go. See, thank you, Mufasa.
Need to rewrite a line of that Alanis Morissette song with that in it. I like it. It's like me falling off of a cliff and getting eaten by sea lion.
There are serves down there.
The important thing is Nick would wash his hands of the whole scenario.
We can't hear anything.
I can't. You guys
I was trying to use the headphones, and the headphones wouldn't have the audio come
Why
out.
don't you all just get on the casting couch with Nick?
And now I can't hear anything again, so I don't know what I switched.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go over to Jamie. Thanks for being a good Jamie friend and coming on, and just tell us how you're doing tonight while I tend to this.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys? How are you, Greg?
Well, I'm doing well, Jamie. Thank you for asking.
Now that you're here, Jamie, love you, buddy.
Hey. Now, the can, you're talking about how it doesn't glow. I know that they must have changed whatever the glowing, like about 3 years ago, this almost had like a green look to it.
Yes, it did.
And it really did glow. And
it had more of a texture to it.
Yeah, and at least last year, or maybe even 2 years ago, it was like this. I know for sure last year it was like this. It did change though, where it says that it still glows, but it doesn't.
Instead of using the microphones and that, just talk loud enough for this to hear. We're sending it.
Not very well. Not like
I'm just gonna mute it.
that 1 year.
All right.
It might have only been 1 year. It was a really good. I don't know. It was raised up, like it was almost really bumpy. It had a green look to it, and it really glowed at night. So, anyways, back to you, Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that doesn't glow in the dark is automatically worse than something that does glow in the dark. That's just a fact.
So did I hear over here Jamie saying something about that
now Nick is muted.
You're muted.
Did I hear over here Jamie saying something about this version is actually glow in the dark or not, or you tried or what?
Well, last year, for sure, the finish was exactly the same as this. Might even have been like this for 2 years previous. 2 or 3 years ago, it was different. It was almost green, and it was raised up, and it was almost like cross-hatched, and it was really glow in the dark. Like it worked really well. Whereas this, whatever the finish is, if it is glow in the dark, it doesn't work very well. It's not. It doesn't work as well as it used to. But mine doesn't glow in the dark. That was the first thing I tried, and maybe if you left it out in the light more, maybe it would. But I don't. It's just not as good of a finish as it used to be.
Mine's gonna be in the light this whole time, and we'll test it at the end of the show.
Yeah, my guess is it doesn't glow in the dark very well.
Yeah, you know what? It's probably expensive to produce the cans like that.
Speaking of expensive cans.
Oh, Ash is here.
Yes, he is.
All right. All right. Well, in that case, it's Ash's turn to tell us how he's doing tonight. You got tonight's beer, right?
I do. I don't have it in front of me. I'm doing great. Just got home from work. My beer's in the freezer for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that's where I'm sitting, and I forgot to bring my beer. But I do have. Thankfully, Lee has company today. With Lee, I got some of those. So there you go, Lee.
Ooh, steam whistle.
You have something to hug to make you feel better after watching me slug a few of these down my gullet tonight.
Oh,
Do that again.
You can rot in hell, Ashley Sexton.
Man, you have someone over there to. Hey,
wow.
Cat, he can.
Wow, he just got the fuck out of here.
That's hilarious.
They're laughing.
You know he'll be back.
Alrighty. So let's get back over to me and
Am I not Egypt? Oh.
yeah. It's probably because you left and came back. Anyway, all right. So let's pan over to moi, and I shall read this beer's history as soon as I call it up. Which I did mention already that I didn't really have a lot of time to write something, but I did jot down some notes. So Big Rig Brewery opened up in 2012 in Ottawa, Ontario, by former NHLer, which is Senators defenseman Chris Big Rig Phillips, along with brewmaster Lon Liddell. First starting off with a modest 10-barrel system. Liddell, a Victoria, BC native, there you go, Dan, brought plenty of experience to brewing on Canada's west coast and helped launch the brewery to success, having won a New Brewery of the Year at the 2013 Canadian Brewing Awards, and a slew more other awards since the Canadian in Ontario Brewing, slew more of awards since at the Canadian Ontario Brewing Awards. I didn't really write this very well. The brewery was acquired by Montreal-based restaurateur Foodtastic in June of 2019, with Liddell retaining his role as brewmaster. Big Rig has since grown to become one of the largest craft breweries, the largest craft brewery in the city, so the largest craft brewery in Ottawa. Which, I suppose that's probably because the Bose is technically outside of Ottawa. So Tales from the Pumpkin Porter, is a 5.8% ABV porter brewed with a blend of pumpkin spices and milk sugar. So it's got lactose for Dan. First brewed in October of 2015. Now, the brewery's webpage now doesn't mention that it has any pumpkin in it. Some of the references I can find online did mention that this was brewed with pumpkin at one time. So has the recipe on this actually changed? The ingredients list doesn't mention it uses pumpkin anymore.
Well, my opinion based on the taste is yes, it has changed. But that's just me.
All right. Well, in that case, let's get rolling on our beer histories and we can talk more about this. So, Redbeard and Guy.
Had this the first year it came out, and that year I crowned it, in my opinion, best pumpkin beer I've ever had. And Ontario not being really great for its quality of pumpkin beers, like Greg has had some like the Plum King and some barrel aged. There's like in the States apparently they make some really crazy ones. I'd love to try, but I've had this every year it's come out, and I don't know if I really noticed a huge difference in the taste, but it still tastes good. So,
Same had when it came out. The taste was slightly lighter than before, but besides that, it's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, Nick, they're only saying nice things because they're sitting in the brewery right now, right? You know that.
Yeah, you're only saying nice things. That's what Lee's saying right now. You're only saying nice things because you're sitting in their brewery right now.
This whole trip has been nothing but carrying
no, I like the beer.
stands for every place.
No one, there's no one around that can hear me.
All right. So, yeah, all right. That's great. We'll move on to Greg.
Heck. Yeah, so I also had this beer the first year it came out, which I think was 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And I've had it at least once every year since then because I always try to buy all the different pumpkin beers because why the hell not? It's the pumpkin season, right? I will disagree with Carrie in that I have noticed some changes in it. I've noticed some years are better than others, and I find lately it's been a little on the sweet side. But I also tend to be more sensitive to the sweetness than some of you regular folks, so I don't know. That could just be me. But yeah, I do agree. When it first came out, it was one of Ontario's best. It's usually fairly solid. It's better than a lot of the ho-hum ones like Lake of Bays, and well, GLB is not even so great this year. But yeah, I mean, you can't really compare what Ontario does to the U.S., but they do some pretty crazy pumpkin beers that cost like $30 a bottle, and they're like barrel aged and this and that, and they're hard to really compare. But yeah, for Ontario, this is a pretty solid stuff. The fact that it's a pumpkin porter instead of just a pumpkin lager, that's kind of exciting. And also it had the innovative glow in the dark can, which seemed to have gotten rid of. Jerks. That's my history, Nick.
Awesome.
Hi, Nick.
I
Thank
can't
you,
say
Greg.
that to turn off the lights that it glows in the dark.
What? What's that?
We've
Ash?
been testing it, and so far it hasn't.
Oh, okay, so you've been testing it.
Yeah, we've been testing it. All right, so let's go over to the Lees.
Oh, there goes my phone. Thank you, Greg. My history is pretty simple. I have none.
Me either.
There you go.
That sums that up quick. All right, let's move over here. So let's go to, who do we have next with us? Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Nick.
What's your history with this beer?
I've probably purchased one of these maybe 5 years in a row. I'm gonna guess maybe 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of the few pumpkin beers that I'll still buy one of every year. Usually 1 or 2. That's about it. This will probably be the only one I buy this year, like a pumpkin beer at all. It's not really the kind of beer that I buy often, and most of them suck. And this one, I'll give you my scores later, but spoiler alert, it's a good one for a pumpkin beer.
Nice. Well, sounds like you like it. And that's actually, good credit towards this beer. It like gives us hope. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Jamie might be a hashtag good friend.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to Ashley. Mr. Ash.
So. I have not had this every year. Sorry if there's any background noise. I did first have this in 2017, not 16, like Greg. I only wish I could be so cool. So, had this in 2017. Had this again in 2019. I haven't had it in the last 2 years, but I can already tell you what it tastes like. And then I'm having it again right now. So yeah, I've sort of skipped a few years, but I will give it credit as being probably one of the only porters or any darker than amber beers that are pumpkin based at the LCBO right now. So for product differentiation, they already get a +5 or +0.5 for me. So.
Nice.
You used to be able to get Warlock in Ontario, which I know is not a Ontario beer, but that used to be an exciting thing, and now we no longer are privy to that. So,
Warlock, that sounds familiar.
Thanks, LCBO.
Was that Fuggles and Warlock, or is it? Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna go to me and say my history. I also have none. This is my first time.
Oh, Nick, you're muted again, buddy.
Yeah, it's just that Nick's muted.
All right, my history on this beer is I have none, and this is my first time having this as well. So, yay. Alrighty. How's the nightlife over there in Big Wrigland there, Redbeard?
Is it what?
Is it that's fine? Or, how's things over in Big Rig?
It'd be better if they didn't turn the hockey game audio on throughout the whole place. Made it even harder to hear you. It's awesome.
Who's playing tonight?
Hockey's work.
Well, I suppose you're in an audio area or bar on like opening night of the NHL season.
Yeah, well, last night was opening night. I think tonight is the
well.
Oh, last night was opening night.
Yeah. The Leafs are playing tonight, so I'm guessing that's the game they're watching.
Oh, wow. They're going to win for sure.
Must be Lee and Lee, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi, nice to meet you.
This is Lee and Lee.
Yeah.
Lee from Nova Scotia, Lee from North Bay.
North Bay. Another North Bayer.
She's North Bay.
You're North Bay.
I'm North Bay, yeah.
Where are you from?
Nova Scotia, Kingston Greenwood area.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Is that Nick's
Yeah,
dad?
that's where I was born. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rare on camera?
It says,
I know the area. Yeah. I got all
Yes,
kinds
my
of
dad
relatives
has finally made an
there.
appearance on
What's your
Beer
last
Analysis 101.
Russell.
name? Russell. Okay.
Be aware that he's being broadcast to.
Dad, you know you're being broadcast on the internet right now?
Hi, Internet.
Hi, next, Dad.
Lori Ilsley that does-
Well, everybody get to meet my dad this weekend, so.
Yeah. Big fella does carpenter work. An old friend of mine. I'm sure we could find somebody you know.
Almost likely.
Yeah. Well, anyway, good to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
All right. North Bay.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long way from home.
Yeah, it is.
What are you doing way down here?
To come visit these guys.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
And eat lots of
Yeah.
seafood.
Yeah,
see
you
all
get
the-
lots of seafood.
all the tourist trap.
Yeah.
This is a,
Yeah.
Guys,
This is entertaining. You guys can talk, you
want
know.
coffee or anything? Or?
No, I'm
Oh,
good.
well,
Pie?
We got like 3 viewers. 3 viewers. If it's not one of us, you can drop a comment saying what you're drinking.
Oh,
I'd
the
love to
beer.
humiliate Nick now, but I have the feeling that his audio
You're
is
recording
not
a beer
on.
show.
that's a big no there, Greg.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
You
Yeah,
too.
thanks.
Just to, what I will say so far is that this is a different recipe than they've used before.
Yeah.
I can say that unequivocally.
Yeah, the can says that they don't use pumpkin, and from everything I can read about this beer, it mentions that they did brew this with pumpkin at one point. So it sounds like almost like they've taken the pumpkin out. It still tastes very pumpkin-y. And it's distracting. God. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'll get my thoughts into what I think it tastes like in a bit, but I feel like this is another one of those cases of beers like you're getting so cheap that you can't even put pumpkin in a pumpkin beer anymore. And especially in this situation, it almost seems like they're claiming it hasn't changed, or not indicating.
How much was it?
It's like $5.29 here in New Brunswick. So yeah, actually the can does say the can glows in the dark, but if it does, it doesn't glow very well.
I was going to say, we are kind of at the brewery. There's a good chance we can get confirmation on whether this has pumpkin in it or not.
Go for it. We can do this live on location. Ask them.
Comes by again, Lasker.
Yeah.
Tell them you have pumpkin allergies.
Telling you pumpkin allergies. You've already like half a pint in.
Say, hey, I've already drank half of this. Should I take my EpiPen?
What the hell?
Quickly run up and just say, "Do you have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? I'm allergic to pumpkin."
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Ruin that poor bartender's evening. Okay, don't do that, Redbeard. Don't do anything I say ever.
Redbeard might actually do that.
Sound advice.
I'm not leading you into good things. Yeah.
Not leading you.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hey. Did they change this? Did they still have pumpkin in it? Yes. Pumpkin and beer confirmed.
So it still does have pumpkin in it. How come it's not listed on the ingredients label?
Yeah. Every year they change it up a little bit, but pumpkin is in this beer.
Okay.
Thank you.
So according to Big Rig themselves, this still has pumpkin in it. Interesting. I guess pumpkin confirmed.
Yeah.
I think they're
All
lying.
right.
Lee says they're lying.
I'm not even kidding. I think they're lying straight up.
They may just used a lot. It's hard with pumpkin because it really gets buried in the spices.
Even the spices are
Your
really
pumpkin doesn't have a strong taste.
Is that Lee? Say about the spices, Lee. It looked like you did one of those old man like wave your hand off, and you said spices.
I think Big Rig's fucking lying. I don't think there's any fucking pumpkin in this beer. Either they're lying or they're not keeping their staff informed of the recent batches, because this just tastes like malty bread without really all that much spice going on, and I don't really get any of that like earthy pumpkin kind of taste, like that vegetal pumpkin stuff. I don't really get that. So if there's pumpkin in it, it might as well not be in there, because they list on the bloody can they have
Water, barley malt, oats, hop, sugar. yeast and spices.
It's like, why you need that crap in there? Just put the fucking pumpkin in it and spice it up a little bit.
Spices. So I guess spices is the pumpkin.
Pumpkin spice.
Maybe they just took like a pumpkin and ground it up after they dried it, and then they just called it pumpkin spice.
Maybe.
Pumpkin Bay sprinkled it in.
Pumpkin Bay. He's wearing a big pumpkin head. Sorry. Yeah. Greg's missing out on the fun.
That should be the beer.
Maybe there's pumpkin in it, but it doesn't need to be. Like, it would make no difference.
To me, it tastes like there could be some pumpkin, but it's just a very minute. It's so hard to taste in beer anyway, so.
I can't wait for next year's Syndaham pumpkin
Syndaham pumpkin beer. Made with chilies and tomato sauce.
I feel like I wrote it again.
Shirt. Who found their shirt last week and posted it to the chat? Someone found their Snyderham shirt.
Chris was
wasn't
wearing
me. I
it
didn't get one.
in a review.
Oh wow!
I was wearing it.
Nice. I ruined the one I had. I had the only white one, and I got like pasta sauce on it or something.
Wow.
That's literally on you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They had earbuds with their earbuds.
Anyone want to give their thoughts on this pumpkin?
Yeah, we might as well start giving thoughts on this thing.
They had earbuds, but they're the Wally earbuds.
Let's start with the two in the brewery.
All right. Yeah. It's not as amazing as it was the first time I had it. Like when I first had this, the first year it came out, that was my favorite pumpkin beer ever. This one this year, it's a bit more thin than I feel like it used to be. I still get a bit of a pumpkin thing, but it's not like the first year. They made a big deal about getting a crap ton of pumpkins, roasting them in house, putting them in the beer. I feel like they're maybe just not adding nearly as much as they used to or something, but like just they're enough so they can still fit the pumpkin in it maybe, but it's a nice porter. I'm going to say like a 7 for the style and 7 for enjoyment. It's not bad. It's all right.
So it's 7 and 7? Can't hear Guy well.
Can't hear you. Yeah, we can't hear Guy well at all. Translate that for us, Carrie.
Sorry?
What did he say?
Translate that for us.
I
We didn't hear
was
a thing he
7-7.
said.
He was 8-8.
Oh, okay.
8. So Guy liked it. Sorry, Guy, we couldn't hear you. You got a haircut though.
Big Greg makes
Shape
really, really, really good pizza.
Nice. He's eating with a fork.
Eating his pizza with a fork?
What?
Whatever floats your boat.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's eating fork. He's forking his pizza.
Well, fork sakes. All right, Greg, you're up.
Hi, Nick. So, yeah, so this beer has been, I really enjoyed the first year I had it. After that, I found it's been pretty inconsistent. A few years, it's been incredibly on the sweet side. Thankfully, this year is not one of those years. So it drinks really smooth. Part of me thinks I do taste pumpkin in it, but again, it could just be my mind being tricked because pumpkin's such a subtle taste anyway. I do like the spices that are there. I don't like that it's overspiced like so many pumpkin beers are. Like the spices are kind of in the background. They actually allow the porter to just be there, and the pumpkin just kind of complements it. And I really like that. So it's really good for me. I had it a few days ago, and I think I gave it a 8.5. I'm not feeling this one as much. I don't know. I'm just in a different mood, but I'm still going to give it a pretty good score. So as a flavored porter, I guess specifically pumpkin, but there aren't that many that I've had. Flavored porter, I'm going to give it an 8. It's kind of what I like. I get the porter. The flavors are on top. They're nice. They're not offensive. They don't overwhelm it. They don't blow me away either. That's why it's an 8, not a 9. And personal enjoyment is also going to go an 8. It's basically, this is the best pumpkin beer in Ontario this year. I know for some people will say that doesn't say much, but, you know, we have had some decent pumpkin beers in Ontario in the past. This is just not a good year for it. Obviously, this doesn't compete with the good U.S. pumpkin beers, but we don't really have access to those this year either. So take what we get. Cheers. 8 and 8.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you, Greg. Mr. Gorg.
Cheers, mofo.
Let's go to the Lees.
Can we get your dad's opinion on this beer?
No.
You can start.
Okay.
That's
So I guess we're going by flavored porter more than anything else with this, I assume.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's barely a porter. What flavored quality there is to it is pretty unimpressive. It doesn't really work too well as a pumpkin beer either. I don't find it particularly pumpkin tasting or pumpkin spice tasting, pumpkin pie, anything like that. It's very just nondescript malty nonsense. I do appreciate Greg mentions that apparently this was much sweeter in previous editions. I'm glad it's not super sweet, but I've had way better like flavored porters than this. So style wise, I'm gonna be generous and give it a 6. Personal enjoyment, I'll probably throw. Yeah, it's drinkable. I'll throw 6.5 at it, but it's thoroughly unimpressive.
All right.
I'm pretty much going off what Lee said. I always found that if there's a porter that I actually do enjoy, I don't think it's much of a porter, because usually I don't like them. And I do enjoy the taste of this one, but I am not getting much flavor at all. Like, I know someone mentioned they might be able to taste a bit of pumpkin, but I literally can't taste anything. It just tastes like a basic porter to me, so I'm going to do the same. So for style, I'm going to give it a 6 as well, and for personal enjoyment, though, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
So 6 to 7.5?
Yeah.
How dare you break rank with me?
Thank you. We'll fight about it later.
Controlling me.
Okay.
You can unmute, Nick.
All right.
Trouble amongst the ranks.
All right. Let's go to the basement. Jamie, our favorite basement dweller.
Oh, we love them.
Lee, have you ever had Clifford Porter?
No.
I don't know if they can hear me or not.
I would
They're
probably
asking
say
you.
he hasn't.
Have you ever had
That-
Clifford Porter?
No.
He says no.
No.
Both of them say no.
That's maybe one that we should do in the future. We can probably send some out because we have it in abundance here. That to me is the best porter in Ontario. I don't know if you guys would agree, but yes, as far as a pumpkin whatever, I'm gonna rate the style pretty low just because I'm not actually getting a whole lot of anything in it. As far as pumpkin, actually, I don't mind the beer. Like if this was just a normal porter, like porters are one of the I like stouts, lagers, porters, beers from your country. Shout out to Chris Peters. And the amount of spice is nice. Like it's just a little tiny bit, like just a little bit of sprinkling of something in the background there. It doesn't overpower, which is the biggest issue with so many pumpkin beers or seasonal beers that are just they're way overspiced and it just kind of completely ruins the beer. This one has a nice little bit of taste to it. If someone gave it to me, I probably wouldn't be able to tell that it's supposed to be a pumpkin beer. So for style, I'm going to give it a 6.25 to make the math hard for Nick, and for enjoyment, I'll give it I don't know, 7.25. Say that. Fuck you, Nick.
Fuck you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie.
Love you, Nick.
That was great, man. I love the shout out to Chris Peters, man.
That was subtle. I forgot about that old intro, too.
All right.
This beard. Shout out to Chris Peters. Anyways, I guess it's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's this is sort of like a fun review, actually, to be completely honest. I'm having fun listening to everybody's interpretation of the beer because everyone's sort of a little
Wrong?
fucking different with it, right? No, not wrong at all. No, it's everyone's face is a little different, right?
Yeah, we're all at different directions.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's the fun thing about this one. And this is a funny beer because it's sort of fucking all over the place, right? On the aroma, you just get like your typical pumpkin spice stuff. You can't really discern from aroma alone what the style is going to be, but it sort of comes across a little earthy. Thank God if they use I know they say they use lactose in this, but I swear to God they just did the fucking salt-based shit on that one, and it's fucking amazing. It's the perfect amount of lactose in a beer is what they have in here, which is nothing. So that's the right amount.
Almost none is the perfect amount.
Almost none's the perfect amount, right? It smells the part of a pumpkin beer, looks the part, head dissipated really quickly. On the sip, it is really rather thin for a porter. It lacks any chewiness that you'd want to get from a darker beer like this, or even something with pumpkin in it. You're sort of expecting there to be a little bit more of a body to it, a little bit more heft. I mean, it is only 5.6%, but at the same time, it still has to be a little bit bigger than what it is, at least on mouthfeel alone. If I was drinking this completely blind, like with a blindfold on, and I couldn't see that it was like as dark as it is, I honestly would have thought that this was an amber beer. Like a spiced amber. It comes across so light on the palate that it just drinks like a 5% beer. I think it's only 5.6%, but at the same time with a porter, you're expecting something a little bit bigger, a little bit chewier, something with a little bit more not viscosity, but just a little bit more oomph. Now on the sip, no residual sweetness whatsoever. I found the years past was cloyingly sweet, bordering on offensive. It was so whether or not it was under attenuated or if it was just too sweet, like too much lactose, whatever it is, I found the previous years to be unpalatable. This one actually drinks better for me and my taste than any of the other beers have in the past. And actually for a pumpkin beer, enjoying the flavor of this one, even though it's really just spiced. It's just a spiced beer. So like when I drink this in my brain, I'm just drinking an amber ale. Right, so obviously my scores on this for style are going to be shit because it's not really much of a pumpkin beer. It's more of a spiced beer, and it's not a porter at all. Like for flavor, they added some dark roasted malts to it, like probably like got the malts in there, but the flavor didn't carry through. Maybe the spices just killed it. But it doesn't drink like a porter. I love Jamie's idea of getting everybody some Clifford because that's a banging porter. For Ontario, that it's a real solid beer. So, so for style, I'm actually gonna just this isn't a porter by taste alone, and it's not really a pumpkin beer either because it's just slightly spiced. There's no pumpkin body. There's no residual pumpkinness to it. So for style, I'm just going to give this a 5.5 because it's missing the mark on both. However, for personal preference, I'm actually going to give this a 6.75. This iteration I would drink again just because just for drinking a slightly spiced light beer, very good. Not offensive to me. So it's not blowing my brains out, but it's better than some pumpkin beers I've had, I guess. So, anyways, that's it. 5.5 and 6.75.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ash.
Welcome.
All right.
He has this book.
And now I've got the difficult task of following up Ash, who did a bang-up job once again of describing this beer, and I've got nothing on him. So I feel like Gregory now.
Yeah. What does it feel like, Nick?
I don't ever want to be here again. So flavors I'm getting off of this thing is like milk chocolate, mild coffee, cinnamon and clove. Tastes like there could be like a mild amount of pumpkin in there, but if there is, it's not much. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if they were lying at the bar and the ingredients list on the can is correct and there's no actual pumpkin in this thing. It's not like it tastes bad though. Like it's a bit on the weird side, I guess. Like, but if you look at it as a spiced, like a flavored porter, I do like it. It tastes like somebody took chocolate milk and blended a slice of pumpkin pie in it with like a big dollop of Cool Whip on top of it. It's got that right amount of sweetness. It's got the right amount of spices. And who cares if the pumpkin's there or not? I'm not really picking up any of it. But I like all the other flavors, so I guess I'm going to give it a 7 for the style and a 7.5 for overall enjoyment. And then I'm going to do the math while everybody talks.
Leo.
Yeah, hey, just to like both Nick and Lee, like, what would they get out of lying about it? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
They're probably not lying. It's probably just the
Full stupid rubes like you sitting in the bar.
no, like I said, like the first batch, they made this big deal on the can about getting all these pumpkin. I imagine they just really dialed back the pumpkin. That's probably what it is.
Does the guy at the bar know that it's not brewed any pumpkin anymore, or is he? He's not the guy that brews the beer. Does he know exactly if they changed it or not? Or he just knows what he was told a couple of years ago when he first started there.
Nick, you and the Lees being on at the same time creates quite the echo effect. Just saying.
Echo.
Weird.
Muted now. It's fine.
Well, I was just trying to say that the guy that's working there, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't actually know if it's made with pumpkin anymore. He just tells people because it's a pumpkin beer. Yeah, it has pumpkin in it. But I mean, it could very well be that he's not the guy that actually brews the beer.
Oh yeah.
And it could also just be a changed amount. Like it's not like it doesn't have any. Like there's a little bit of a taste to it. Maybe I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't be able to discern that it actually has it or not. But maybe there's just a little bit in there. It's dialed back.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably a little bit, just not enough.
Yeah, it's certainly a different recipe though. Like
very
what Ashley was saying, how it's not as sweet. And thankfully, like I'm done with sweet beers. So
this used to be like a dessert beer a few years ago, and they toned it down. I don't know if that just happens to be batch variation or they maybe got some bad feedback or something. But this used to be a Dan beer a few years ago, and now Dan wouldn't drink this.
Oh my god, yeah, Dan wouldn't drink this. Dan would have like guzzled last year's well, I didn't have last year's or the year before, so 2019's he probably.
And back then I didn't mind buying a sweet beer every once in a while. Now I just like if I knew it was sweet, I just wouldn't buy it. Like anything that says pastry on it, nope. Like lactose-y, just no. I don't want it. I'm done with them. So I actually like this probably better. If I would have had the old recipe now, I probably would give it even a worse score.
Sounds like they made this thing a whole lot more drinkable. Like chugger.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot smoother than it used to be. Like, assuming you don't love a sweet beer.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, it's still a good tasting beer. It's just maybe it's not.
I do recall the first year I had it. It was black as like this. I can get light through this. The first year I had it, light was not coming through this. So like unless you were right at the edge, I will concede. It is randomly weird to not list pumpkin on the ingredients of the can if it's in there. That is a thing I'm going to kind of ask next time she comes around. But
especially if someone's allergic to pumpkin.
The other thing I wonder.
Put that on there.
Just tell her that you and a bunch of your nerd friends were reviewing this beer online from the bar.
Don't tell them that.
The other thing I'd wonder is if the ABV has changed over the years.
I have 0.8 now.
Tell the people at the bar that they're pawns fronting a house of lies.
Thought it was over 6 before. But I could be wrong.
Can't tell from the dumb photos I
Also, Red Beard and Geek Kiss.
I mean, yeah, do it.
It's weird.
Somebody sticks a finger up. Somebody got a finger in. Alrighty, so I think we're about ready for this shit, which is
Jamie in 2019 it was 5.8%, the same it is now.
Okay.
Can art was different though.
You know this after Lee sucks off Nick's face. There we go.
No.
Can't do that on camera.
Sounds pretty fair. Like,
Oh yeah.
both of them, one after the other.
Terms of service, Red Beard. Be an animal.
I'd be okay if he and Carrie made out with tongues, but then the Lees had to give Nick a double blowjob. That's what I'd like to see.
All
Make
right,
it
so
happen.
the ratings are for style 6.7, and overall enjoyment is 7.3.
Really?
And
Oh yeah, we had some 8s in there.
yep. All right, so I'll stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to go to the comments actually because we haven't read any yet.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
All right, so it's mostly just, and it is entirely just Paul from PA Brew News in the chat. By the way, hi, cheers, Paul.
Cheers, Paul.
Love you, dude.
Oh, I wonder what Paul thinks of pumpkin beers.
Pumpkin with darker beers work better together, especially when only lightly spiced. Hashtag pumpkinness. Dan's in the chat says pumpkins are overrated. Well, lactose isn't, apparently. PA Brew News is 100%. Pumpkin beers sell on novelty and not history of quality. You guys are having a harder time finding pumpkin in this beer than Redbeard had last night trying to find his hotel.
I had a good time. I didn't care.
Hey,
Walking
you
about
know what?
Quebec City, glorious.
As long as you had a good time, there you go, man.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna hop off and go back to his home and maybe pop back on for after check and stuff. So,
all right.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
Travel safe.
And
Recklessly, whichever you prefer.
Dan posted one more comment saying WNWB, what's next week's beer? And I don't think we discussed that yet because we've been tied up with this week. We always figure it out.
Is there anything left from like the Jamie stuff that he sent you guys, or?
There's the Rat Queen.
There's the barrel aged. No, it's not a barrel aged. It was the spiced Rat Queen, I think. But we're gonna do that when Chris is available.
Is that a pumpkin spiced Rat Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always the Devil's Pale Ale.
I can't get that right now.
You can't get that right now?
I don't think I.
Greg, you've been slacking. You gotta get
seen it in the
some
last 2
Ash.
weeks.
I would have bring your own beer, but have we done a pumpkin beer yet for bring your own beer?
Yeah, we did one last year for Halloween.
We could do it again.
I honestly think I did this beer.
There's also the Flying Monkeys, the other pumpkin beer that Greg sent. Greg, we're talking about you. Greg, pay attention to us.
Hi, Nick.
Paranormal activity or whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, Nick. Okay, if you want me to give my opinion, I would do 666 as soon as possible before the hops.
Yeah, but Ash was just saying he can't get the 666.
I'll look into it. Like,
okay.
Actually, I'll send one to you if you can't get one.
You're not gonna send me a fucking pale ale.
I'll send you one pale ale. I'll put it in a bubble envelope and send it your way.
Fuck that pale ale. I liked it though. It was good. Shit, I just ruined it.
And anyway, if Sexton Ashley can't do that, then I mean, we got 2 other pumpkin beers to go, and then we're basically at Halloween. So you do your thing, Nick.
Well, yeah. Well, we got to get through them. We got to get through those beers. So we got 2 more. No, like this next week is the one.
I can get a beer to Ashley in like 2 to 3 days. So
okay. Well, how about we do the Devil's Pale Ale next week and just lock down on it and say we're doing Devil's Pale Ale.
Yep. I have it.
Perfect.
Ashley, let me know by the end of the week if you need.
I will let you know by the end of the night.
Yeah,
I only have like 4 LCBOs I'm willing to go to. So.
All right.
Fair enough.
Only 4 LCOs. Just only.
Paul says you can show up for bring your own.
Yeah, but the one that you guys have in North Bay have like way better selection than any of the 4 I have.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks left in October, so we could do like the final week of October pumpkin beer. Bring your own beer.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about doing Gahan pumpkin for that week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can you get that there?
I don't even know if I can get that anymore.
We'll talk about it. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, I think with that in mind, I'm going to take this thing offline. I want to thank Paul and Dan in the chat. You're welcome to pop on the Discord after this is done. And we're going to take this thing offline. I want to thank, Guy and Redbeard are taking off. I'm going to thank Lee and Lady Lee for being so patient and sitting behind here even with some of these technical difficulties we've been running into. It's all good, as long as they're happy. And I want to thank Jamie for popping on, because we rarely see Jamie anymore.
I've been here like... be a good friend.
almost every
and-
week for a few
Oh.
months now.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, we
And-
promised. Hold on.
Oh, you know what else? You know what else? Another one we haven't seen as much of lately is Ashley. I'd like to thank him for coming on.
The can does
It was
not
on the
glow
last
in the
few
dark.
weeks.
The can.
You got all your shit fucked up, man.
No, it doesn't.
Oh no, I wasn't on last week.
You were.
I was on the week
Okay.
before, and then I was off, and then I was on again. But whatever.
And been off. Well, it's the thing. You've been off and on again.
Did she make Jamie's bar?
This last week has been a blur because I mean it's just like been basically drinking every day nonstop. I didn't drink yesterday, but been just been a whirlwind of alcohol and great times. That's the one thing that hasn't been a cessation of is great times. Like it's just transitioned from hanging out with Guy and Redbeard to these guys.
Yeah, it got way better after those two fucking.
Exactly. Once those guys, so things really settled down. And
After those two
became
fucking
a lot less
losers
crazy.
left, it got way better.
Well, I love the fact that these guys actually know where they want to go and what to do, rather than try to coax people into doing stuff.
Wow.
These two
Jesus,
actually
man.
plan. Anyway, all right, we're gonna take this offline.
Can I just point something out that it appears the can glowed a little bit? I'm holding the can right to the laptop now. You cannot see it. So it seemed to glow a little bit at first, and then it just stopped. Like
I'm gonna
I
go.
I think
my
gimmick
kids
fails.
to in dark rooms, so I'll let
All
you
right.
know.
All right, we're going
I'm
offline.
charging it up.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul.
Talk to you in a bit.
Christina killed